minus,
Since there's Nokia today, reset has to be HTC, then reset is iPhone, then
go back to minus. We're good to go. Where am minus? Go for it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
Don't. Now you see, this is exactly why I write things down, because when you do
podcast. Yeah, let's start, man. How you been?
Hey, I'm fantastic, boss. I'm fantastic. I'm brilliant.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, but you know, COVID seems to have this weird things. I think I told you last time, it was I eat, then I have an excessive amount of saliva that I produce.
Yeah.
Now my ears are kind of blocked. So
serious? Like you're swimming?
No, I haven't been anything at all.
No, like you're swimming.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you hearing, mono or stereo?
No, it's mono. Definitely
serious?
Mono, yeah.
You sure? Don't blame COVID for wax.
No. So the thing about wax is good for you. It's your body reacting to dirt that's coming inside.
No, I'm saying when wax clogs up.
And what it does, it only clogs up if you start pushing it in there. Don't push it. Wax falls out by itself naturally.
I must never push.
Oh, really? That wax. So those earbuds and everything else, those things are wrong. Totally bad for you. Totally. The body is a wonderful machine, and I'll use that because I think you're familiar.
So how does it come out?
It rolls by itself out, drops out. That's been happening for me for years, ever since I was a kid. You just find it's this huge little dollop of wax is just drawn out.
So when people say clean your ears, what are you supposed to leave them?
No, some of them are dirty actually.
Yeah, so that's why earbuds are there. Oh, but we tend to just
go all the way.
Shove the thing in
there. You're going to wrap to your eardrum or something like that. It's just at the outer here, like on the that's where you should just clean. But inside, the body knows how to take care of itself. I think the body is a wonderful machine, and God is an incredible engineer that's created that. I didn't have a topic today, so
you lie.
I didn't have a topic today.
Chris, what's going on? Are you not feeling well?
Yes. I'm still recovering.
Let's get over COVID.
I'm still recovering.
Get over it.
I thought I could.
But it's hard, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I can tell you a couple of things. And I know I don't even let my kids hear this podcast.
Really?
One of the biggest fears I had
Why?
It's X-rated.
Which part? Oh, because
it's always X-rated.
No, that's because of you.
Oh, you haven't heard yourself, hey?
No, hang on.
2/3 of the conversation is you.
Yeah, but for those that really pay attention to it,
backseat and
for those that really
celebrated. What does celebrated mean in that? What does it mean?
You see, that's what happens. You just press buttons. You see,
I think I'll make a great interview. Yeah, a great interview.
Yeah, because you just make people talk.
No, you've got a lot to say.
No, I don't. I'm just very, very chilled out.
This will probably be episode 9, I think, if you break it down to what it's supposed to be. It's probably episode 9. And for those who just probably picked up this one, because I got someone was on Twitter. Yeah, I do have a topic we can talk about. And the topic he brought up, this young man, was he was in town. And remember, Twitter's got very limited characters. He was in town. He saw a man behaving in a very weird way. And he's worried about mental health of men. And I know you brought up suicides a couple of weeks ago, how it's such an alarming number now. And I took it upon myself and I said, you know what? I had a friend. I've got a great friend who he fixed my car in record time. I've never seen that. You know, I hated you for that. I couldn't even record it. You fixed my car in less than 30 seconds. Then you stood there and you said, "Oh, flip, I'm fed up." And that's where all this whole podcast came about. Because in my mind, I was like, "That's such a great title for a thing." But the thing about Vusa is that he's got a lot to say, and 90% of it is wisdom, 10% is garbage. You just have to decide which one you want. But it brought me back to what this guy said, and I said, I gave him a link.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how to take the whole 90%, and then 10% is garbage.
It's 100% garbage. I gave him a link to our podcast, and he loved it. The first one that we did, where there was a lot of, because now we've got structure. I think now we've got structure. We've got so much structure that I think we can get a sponsor. And of course, we're always looking for Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, the best or nothing.
Yes,
Shucks.
Mercedes-Benz. And I'm going to send this link to the guy at Mercedes Marketing, definitely. But he brought in the stuff and he
said, which Mercedes? Germany or South Africa?
Zimbabwe.
Okay. Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those other guys, I don't know if they'll resonate with us. Half the time we're speaking in our mother tongue.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
They might.
No, they might.
Yeah,
they really might.
It's a different population. And Zim has always recorded huge numbers for actual sales for the Mercedes. In Africa, it's like one of the biggest, actually.
Yeah, because, that's another podcast altogether.
Because
It depends on how you look at it. Yeah, I was told that per capita, Zim has the largest amount of mercs in Africa.
Yeah. We're a small population, man.
Yeah. Per capita, yeah. Because Mercedes, for the young and upcomings,
status symbol.
Yeah, it's a sign of you are there.
Yeah.
You've made it.
Yeah.
You can be somebody people can look at.
Yeah.
For folks like you and I, Mercedes is a brand we can identify with in terms of the best or nothing.
Yeah.
What have you achieved?
Yeah.
Has there been a track record?
Yeah.
It's also indicative of old school money.
Yeah.
So what have you been able to do in order to get it and to keep it running?
Yeah.
Because any individual can buy a Mercedes,
100%,
but very few people can keep them running.
Yeah.
And so there's always that. So that's why there's that push. Yeah, don't get me going because we'll digress from
what I was saying. So he talked about mental health, and I think maybe we can pick up on that. I think and to me, I've always said that women are probably the most powerful creatures we have. I don't know, you dispute that.
And we're back to where we were last week. But I'm trying to figure out how is Chris going to connect this.
And to me, I sent out a tweet. I was speaking to somebody.
Sorry, no, continue. Because, we digress.
It's all part of the tweet.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so what I was trying to think is that this person that he saw who was probably troubled.
Yeah.
You never trouble me with. Even if you shout at me and I owe you money, whatever it is, you never trouble me that I'll get sleepless nights. I will speak to you and we'll get to, do you understand what I'm trying to get to?
I'm with you loud and clear.
That you come to me and say, Chris, you owe me $1,000. And I say, hey, shit, you know what, bruh? It's been tight. And you understand. But you say, still, Chris, you owe me $1,000.
That's a Zim statement. Hey, it's tight.
No. I've thought about it. It's just different other cultures and stuff.
It's the same principle. No, I'm saying the statement.
Yeah, of course.
It's tight.
Yeah, it is.
And that's it. You don't have to say anything more.
No, that's just it. It's code for a whole paragraph of things that have just gone wrong.
It's tight. You say, okay, fine.
It's okay. And then I break you off something. I break you off something and we're cool for a week or two. But if she whispers in your ear, your significant other, and I really want to make a case study of where we are, because all we've been talking about has been situations that get us fed up. And there are certain places that really give us the triggers. They're triggers.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
If you read the newspapers and flip, I'm very big on Twitter. There's always something on this publication called Zim I. I don't know if you've ever seen Zim I. Zim I is hectic. I mean, Zim I really takes the other side. You've seen Zim I takes the other side.
They're hectic.
And they take everything. But then I suddenly realized that there's a whole world out there where people are murdering each other like it's just like drinking water. Just boom, you're dead because you triggered it. And those triggers, for me, have been things of concern, because the one that you say, they know those triggers.
Sorry, I'm not ignoring. I can hear. There's something that you said to me.
I know. Do you do this? I know you know you so well.
You sent a message.
Yeah, you actually write a lot of things down.
You sent a message, and I'm trying to get it back.
So, this guy, when he was talking about this person, I'm saying that person when he was coming from Kumba, home where he came from, somebody triggered that. And it's just one simple statement. I got a text this morning that triggered something in me. And my manhood was shaken. My manhood was shaken. And I was thinking, I'm a pretty accomplished young man. Why is this one individual the only person who doubts me? I mean, I'm serious. I walk into certain places and it's Mr. Mawazo. You know what I mean? Reverence.
Exactly.
Reverence.
They revere you and you don't have to feel good, but it's what they do that makes you like.
And remember we talked about in one of the podcasts that what do men want? It's not love. It's respect.
I was speaking to the producer earlier on.
Yeah. It's respect. You don't have to love me. I don't need your love. I don't need you to write me 1,000 letters. No. But you respect me. You know what I mean? And as a man,
you can walk all over me.
Yes, you can say whatever you want, but you gotta respect me.
When you respect me, you manage me.
Oh, yeah, you manage very well. And that is indicative. I think that's the biggest challenge we have now, is that there's no respect anymore. And we talked about in the first podcast, I think we broke it, a lot of these down, that there is no respect anymore. And what they do now is, that when they know you and they have triggered certain things in you, they can bring that up now. It's certain things that they can bring up very easily. And unfortunately, in Zim, keeping up with the Joneses,
Shucks.
or in this case,
Shucks.
the ones who can get 50K and a helicopter and a private plane to take you to go and see Arsenal. You
know
can't.
what I mean?
You can't. Someone is dropping that and you're thinking, oh, balloons, and it's a brand new Range Rover, what? Discovery? You can't. Then there's the triggers. Futi notinga chingwa. By the way, you didn't even buy any bread. So what sort of man are you?
That footy word.
Yes.
4-letter word.
Yes.
Foot.
All 4-letter words are hectic, eh? Think about it. All 4-letter words are hectic. That was just created in a certain way that it's just hectic for you. Even the tell things like hope, love, sick. All 4-letter words are just hectic. Dead.
Hate.
Hate.
Shucks.
So,
Girl.
okay. We need to manage.
I didn't see that one
Yeah,
coming.
we need to manage you.
I thought my brain got in gear once the mouth had already released the clutch.
So my thing, what I want to talk about is, I think,
Did you finish the tweet?
the tweet part.
Yeah.
There are lots of that too. I'm worried about it. That if let me go on, then you can come in the next hour. So I replied
I like
to the guy.
the way you assume that I'm gonna go for an hour. I'm not, but there's something. Yeah, no, I found out what I was looking for.
So he brought up the mental health part, and I sent him our podcast. He loved it. He said he finds it. He said I really enjoyed it.
Right.
And I said, look, there are a couple more that we're going to post. Then you can have a look at it and see what you think. It brought me to a point that do you all have a place? And you said it before, a safe place to go. Safe place doesn't necessarily always have to be a ship.
I'm with you.
But my challenge is that, and somebody asked me, what's your safe place? And I said, you know what? The podcast has become my safe place.
Yeah,
And I think even our producer yesterday, when I was trying to get hold of him, he was like, I'm in my safe place. He was in the studio. And you can imagine that his headphones on and he's going off, whatever it is. But that gives him the balance.
Speaking of which, I mean, did we not send out on no, relax. Did we not send out on the chat, guys, what's the plan for tomorrow?
Yes, we did.
And he's laughing.
Yes,
when does he respond? Close to 24 hours later.
No, close to 20 minutes to the hour when we're supposed to actually go. No, but somebody's managing him. That's it. Someone is managing.
That's management.
Yeah. It's the same way that, we're trying to get hold of we're trying to get hold of each other, right? And then somebody says, no, I can't come there right now. He has been managed. He has been managed.
Oh, okay. Anyway, here's the deal. Let's go back to where we were. So the safe place.
So that took it up. Now I'll finish off with the other tweet. The other tweet was this other guy came, I think he was responding to this lady who had said something close to how did she word it? I'm forgetting how she worded it, but I can remember what he said. He was saying that you should be careful who you whisper your plans, your fears, your desires, your hopes to, because some people are just out to manipulate you. And in this instance, this was a man lamenting about his plans that he had given to this female, who then went out and just practically just destroyed him, particularly where it was coming from. And unfortunately, it might sound like it's sexist and everything else, but this is a man show. Unfortunately, it's just a bunch of guys who are fed up and were talking about things that just really get to us, and this is one of them. So when he said that response, and I said to you, do you know that women are very powerful? And he was saying, elaborate. And that's where I gave my favorite line. Eve knew. Eve knew. And she says, there's no way I'm going down by myself. And she took on Adam. And Adam fell with her. And then they walked. A woman picked it up, that tweet. And she laughed and cackled forever and says, can I use this? She went and rebuilt it and actually put it into a vernacular. Translation, let's come and eat together. Boom! And she left. Her tweet got 2,000 impressions in less than 1 hour. This is a woman who knows. And I say to her that you just don't know. I think you guys have forgotten how powerful you are. Go back to the playbook of Eve. Eve spoke. Eve triggered. And man reacted. The worst thing that we're having now in our country, and why there's such a prevalent of all these suicides, was one, like the guy who had spoken to in the first place says, where do men go where they can be okay and can talk about things without being judged or called wusses or whatever it might be? Two, is there such a thing And can a person be strong enough and confident that they cannot be triggered by the opposite sex? Especially on the ones that are which you was always talking about, is that power and ability to be able to say to someone that I know, but I'd rather not. I can, but I won't. I would, but I won't. Sort of scenario. He's holding his head, ladies and gentlemen.
I have nothing. I've tried to dissect everything you've been saying.
It's for me it's scary, really, because it's now, especially now in our country, there are a lot more suicides and murders. One prominent one was this guy. Okay, riddle me this. What should he have done? There was this very attractive girl. She met this guy who was a security guard, but he could hustle. He could hustle like no man's business. She wanted to go to school, get a driver's license and everything else. For 3 years, he funded her life. And I think there was a promise. I think we've spoken about that. Or
an expected end.
Yes. That of course, 3 years, I'm going to end up with this woman. And she was beautiful. I say this because of what he looked like.
Okay.
You wouldn't put them two together.
Okay.
Ever. But what happened? She graduated. She got a job. She's good. She dumps him. He came out with a gun and killed her.
Oh,
in
that's
the bus.
That's the story.
That's the story. Remember that story?
Yeah.
That was the backstory. That was the backstory. Crumbled up at the back of this bus was this young lady's life is taken. Triggers. Now, a few men replied, and I think they were trying to be politically correct. They said, you can't buy love. And I think he thought he was buying love. But we've got different ways of expressing love.
No, he wasn't buying love.
I'm saying that's what they were saying. And there was a whole vitriol line of people saying he should also die. My question is, what was his mental state then?
He died before she did.
Exactly.
He died before she did.
That person who went to kill was already a dead person.
He was dead.
That's my whole take on it.
That was it.
And that's where I'm coming at. It's that where we are now.
Yo.
And if you think about it, how many stories like that have you seen? And each one of us right now in this whole country
has a story.
We're taking time bomb. That 50K and aeroplane, let's take that money away. How long would that relationship last?
You've got a point.
What is it built on? Take all of that away. And this is the stories that these women feed us, that it should be romantic and I'm your loving partner and I'll never leave. This is who we are. And yet the practical nature of it all is you need to be fed, you need to be clothed, you need a shelter. Those are the basic amounts of laws that you need. Once you feel those on, it's reset. We talked about reset a couple of podcasts back. It's reset to zero. We now have to move further. This lady got to a point where some people will say that she used him to get where she wanted to get to. And once she was happy with that, it's gone. How many stories like that have you heard lately? How many? And this goes back. This is not even new, this whole thing. But now, because of social media, it's more prevalent. And you brought in a nice word this afternoon. Managed. That's what they do, isn't it? They manage certain things. Because I'll go back. This is to show you how deep. I go back. Women look in perpetual. You're looking in finality. You're like, Saturday, I'm out, I'm going out, I'm having fun, cool. She's thinking, right, 52 Saturdays times 6. Okay, that's what I got to handle. And I'll get what I'm looking for. If I'm able to get that in 52 Saturdays times 6, I'll be okay. I'll have the house, I'll have the kids, I'll have this, and I'm good to go. You're no longer one. No, you're not. You're no longer one. Someone has got an agenda that's totally separate from you. Am I supposed to blame this on economical? Is that what we're blaming it on? Or is it a social thing? What is it? What's brought on a prevalence of this sort of behavior? That's my question to you today. I just need to know. Because it's actually, for me, it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. Because it's everywhere. You can't get anything you want unless someone else can give it to you in a certain way. You talk about prostitution, forget about the ones that are on the street. Those is actually a graft. Now these people, it's a lifestyle. There's a huge difference with it. which is funny. I saw something again on social media. One person put that their customer, it was customer service week this previous week.
Yeah.
They said, ever since all these prostitutes, their customer service week is on point. There's one who walks down around with a tie and a blazer and looks like a formal person with a laptop bag. And she walks in a certain street. You don't get to see her often, but that's what she does. So when you do meet her, someone will say, no, Basa. Yes, it's just that it's not her office. Her office is different. It's the bedroom. But they've stepped up the level. But that's their profession. These are the individuals who, in my opinion, give a falsehood on where they want to go to. They don't take you on the journey of what you've been talking about. You know that fairy tale journey you've been telling about, that Disney line of yours? Forever, forever, forever. It's not there in the movie. Not in this world.
And for today, that's a wrap. Shark.
Heavy. I think it's a heavy topic.
It's heavy is an understatement.
Yeah.
It's loaded because there's so many facets to it.
Yeah. But you got to see it because
there's so many facets to it because, and there's certain things I'd like to break down if you don't mind.
No problem.
And because there's so much that was going through my mind, I'll just pick on certain things, and when the producer thinks of editing, he can do what he wants. The first story you're talking about, the first story you highlighted, the one that is the foremost, is that young lady who got shot by her security guard, boyfriend, stroke lover, stroke fiance. We will never know because she's dead. Bless her. And you said you used the word that she used him, and I think the first reactions that any sane individual will come to is he should have known that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's always the first thing.
Yeah, it's the first thing he should have known.
Yeah.
Or how could he have been so stupid?
Yeah.
How could he have been so myopic? How could he have thrown all his eggs in one basket?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and I think you mentioned, I don't know if it was recording or not, that it's a respect issue.
Yeah.
How was she presenting herself to him in response to what he was doing in the first stages, in the early stages?
Yeah.
To a point that she excited him to allow him to trust her.
And to do the most for her.
To do the most for her. To trust with everything that he, not just everything that he had, but everything that he was. How he didn't define himself as a security guard. He defined himself because we don't know what her name is.
No,
let us give her name. Let's give her a name because I need people to take it personally. Let's give her let's call her Rosemary. Eve. No, let's call her Rosemary. For now, he defined himself not as an employee of a specific security company.
No.
But he defined himself as Rosemary's guy. He defined himself, as he defined his success and his purpose in how he looked after Rosemary.
I like that because I'm going to go back to that one. I'm going to bookmark that. Okay.
Yeah, that's how he defined himself in terms of how he provided for her, and he put all his eggs in that basket because he worked with the assumption that. Even though she couldn't, but because she was doing well in school and the future, she would reciprocate that in aligning herself to him and his vision and his mission. Let's assume that. So you said she used him. Before we get there.
It's not my viewpoint.
No, I'm saying you said because you brought it up. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Chris. For those who are going to listen, Chris didn't say she is.
Yeah, killing me here.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Chris. But the statement that came out, the comments that she used him.
Yeah.
When I started out,
started what? Career?
Life.
Oh, okay, cool.
I used Old Spice.
Yes.
And then I went to Brute.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
You know, and
this is how old we were.
You know,
Old Spice and Brute is not like this is how old we were.
You know, and then I went to Insignia.
Yes.
You know,
I follow your footsteps.
I went to Insignia, and then I chilled a lot with Axe, not Axe, Shield.
Yes.
And then from Shield, I moved to Axe. And those were very good. Now I'm into 1 Million. I'm into Sauvage.
Old man.
You know, I'm into Tom Ford. You know, that's where I'm at. But it's not a reflection of me saying that if you're still using Axe or Shield that you're different. No, but I have graduated myself. So there's certain things that I'm going to be looking forward to at that level.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, she's late. I can't ask her. But for some people that I have seen that are still alive, when they begin to get to a place of they've been elevated by an external force.
Yeah.
When they get elevated, there's a tendency to forget where you're coming from.
But that's just because they see what's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, the endless possibilities.
Yes.
And so when they get to that level, I'm not saying that they should pull the person that brought them to that level, but there needs to be an acknowledgement of that person. So I think she may not have seen him in the light of the way she saw him when they started.
Akasara. Yeah.
He got left behind.
He got left behind. So she was on another level.
And she was not willing to
ask him to step up.
Not just to ask him to step up, but she was not willing to bless him with the newness of the level that she's at.
Could she?
She could. Everybody has that capacity.
No way.
She could. When I say bless, I don't mean bless as in financial or assets, whatever.
I agree.
But even just in conversation, this is what happened, and she shares, not to pull him to her level, but she shares so that they still have the connection.
You know what? Right there.
Yeah.
Is for me the biggest issue with this problem, and with a lot of individuals.
Yeah, which is that's also I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
That there's no longer a cohesion of how you are. Remember, I forget we were sitting in this very studio when we were talking about. Oh, there was a weekend where you came and you were so upset and so frustrated and disappointed because there's an issue where you said you wasted time, and yes. I said because there's no cohesion or commonality of definition.
You said, did you communicate
so that you had a collective definition?
Yes, that they all exactly. Everybody understood what's going on.
Yeah,
and I vehemently said
no.
Exactly.
So within this setup, where he just lost it and shot her,
I agree.
They didn't have a collective definition.
These were two parallel journeys.
They were two parallel journeys.
Yeah.
They just happened to be on the same street.
Yeah.
At a particular moment in time.
Yeah.
And he assumed that they were going to then merge.
Yes.
And she didn't.
No.
And so
you're just a boyfriend.
And that's it. And he couldn't understand it. So when she then said, "Hey, that's it.
That's it. I'm moving on."
He elevated her thinking. He elevated her understanding. He elevated her position and her standing intellectually.
Did you awaken it? Remember how I started?
No, okay. Let me use that word.
Put them together.
Let me use that. Let me use your word. Let me use your word. Elevated. I mean, awakened.
Yeah.
He elevated her mindset so that she could understand the awakening.
Okay.
Yeah. So had he not been in her life, she would not have been at that place. So he was just the catalyst to get it to the next level. But because there was no collective definition, he lost it. The reason I was scrolling through my notes is you said something this past week. You rephrased something that I said, empty nest.
Yes.
The empty nest we'll call it the empty nest protocol, where you're so used to a situation, you're so used to a setup, so you fly away assuming that when you come back, coming back to the same nest. Everything is it's like you hit pause when you went your separate ways, and you're coming back, you're going back to play, and everything's fantastic because you're all in different spaces.
Yeah.
But when you get back, the nest is empty, and there is, and emptiness has a finality to it.
Yeah.
And so the nest is empty. They took everything, furniture, the plugs, the bulbs, the padlock, the tissue paper. They took everything. Even the cockroaches packed and left.
There's nothing here.
They took everything. And so when he got to the empty nest protocol setup, his whole world collapsed. His whole world. Because if he was, I'm trying to think of it as a guy, he was funding her. He could have done more with the money for himself.
100%.
But he was funding her. She became his life. She became
Whose fault is
his
that?
world. No. We're not going to talk about fault. Yeah, here we're not fault finding. We're just presenting a situation, because the tweet is like, this guy saw somebody and he's understanding. We need to understand how people get to that point.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. She became his world, his everything. By desire to make her be the best version of herself. And he thought as he was supporting her, she within herself would be a pillar in his life.
So I'm going to ask this question. Who's responsible for what at that particular point?
When you say who's responsible for what?
Because when you say that he was feeding her desire to get to a certain level, whose responsibility? Was it his responsibility to do that?
It wasn't, but it was out of...
Wasn't he given... Come on, I love the way you say it, man, and I keep slipping. You might forgive me. Maybe COVID made me forget. A celebration of...
An assertion of affection.
Yes. Wasn't that because of that?
She was giving him an assertion of affection. She was giving him an assurance of affection.
Yes. Wasn't she?
She was giving him an assurance.
So that's the payback, yeah?
Yeah. So in the assurance of perfection, for a guy, when there's an assurance of affection, stroke a presentation of respect, stroke an acknowledgement of existence.
Yes.
When you have those, for a man, black, white,
wow, boy,
you are in your safe place.
Respected.
That's it.
Yes.
You're in a safe place.
Yes.
You're in a safe zone. And that's what she gave him during that period. And so that motivated. Remember, we talked about the cycles where you get to a celebration, you feel celebrated, you are then...
I call it reset, but okay.
Yeah. There's always that reset button.
Yeah.
You feel celebrated, and then because of the celebration, you are then inspired to do the most, to get to the next level,
exactly.
so that you can be celebrated. And that's what he was going through. And then she dumps the guy. His world collapsed. Everything that he had defined himself as being. I am Rosemary's dude. I'm the dude. Everything that he defined himself as being in pursuance of trying to make a better person, thinking that he's being the best or nothing. Then all of a sudden you realize, no, you were just there for a period in her life. Yet his Chris's term finality was, we're going to Cape Town. We're in the same car.
Yeah.
Then she hopped in the back seat and he was left alone. I always bring it back there. He was left alone, and he was like, now what? He had forgotten the way of stopping the car to pick someone up, because he had locked the doors. They are going together. He had locked the doors.
You can sleep.
Put the aircon on. You can sleep. I'm okay. Don't worry. You need to study. You need to do this. I'm fine. Then all of a sudden, she doesn't even break out of the car. When he's at a traffic light in one of the city and they're still going to Cape Town, she just opens the door and walks out and closes the door.
I'm okay.
I didn't
tell you that this is what we were going to do.
Exactly. And he's like, but I was in this, I've got nowhere else. I've got no one else. This is it for me.
Yeah.
Therein he died. He died right there.
Yeah.
His whole world collapsed.
This monster came out.
Why is the deal? Why am I going there? Why am I going? And when he went to her, it wasn't one of those, if I can't have you, no one can.
You don't think it was? I think
it wasn't.
It sounds like it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, if I can't have you, no one can. It wasn't that. It was, everything that I was you. Everything that I am was you. Everything that motivated, that made me stick out this job in this harsh economic climate, was because I was motivated to keep you. Now everything has died for me. Everything and everyone is now meaningless. I can't deal with this. And so there was no rationale. Given time, he would have.
You think so?
He would have.
Because he went on for a while, then he was arrested eventually.
Yeah, given time, he would have. Or given time, he would have. It brings you to another story. We talk about suicides and all that stuff. A guy having issues with his wife, and the wife moved on, and he could no longer handle it. That she had the gumption to say, "I'm enough of your nonsense. I'm out."
And they had to be together for a while.
They had three kids.
I love how people put that 3 kids thing as a measure.
Yeah, no, I'm saying. I'm not saying that they were having fun in having the 3 kids.
Yeah.
I'm saying they were together for a while.
Yeah.
3 kids later, the eldest was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 kids later,
Yeah.
they were together for more than 8 years.
Yeah.
We don't know how happy they were, but
Yeah,
for her to move out,
yeah.
and then she's moving out, so she decides, let me go to the house and just get my gear. She goes to the house to get her gear. He arrives while she's in the house getting her gear.
And he's seen this final movement of her moving out.
Yeah, this is funny.
Triggers something in him.
Triggers. He loses. They start fighting. Yeah, the maid is at the house, but the maid has gone to quarters where she got there end of day.
Yeah.
The maid goes to the quarters. Assumes baba na mama varipo.
Yeah.
She goes. She locks herself in. The guy loses. They fight. They shout. He gets violent and he chokes and she dies in front of the 3 kids.
In front of the kids.
In front of the 3 kids.
Yeah.
He realizes, oh snap, what have I done? Can't deal. He takes poison. He goes to his room and he froths at the mouth. He dies.
People always have this poison around.
Because you're on a kill, right? It's a
But
neighborhood.
it
There's
should be
always
bad.
bad.
Don't you think? Since we're kids, how many times have we heard of Rogan?
Yeah, you know. But
Since we're kids,
you know, that's a technical. How many people know of cough mix, but how many of them are taking it down the wrong way? But so, and then she croaks, and then he decides to take the thing, and he dies. Maid wakes up in the morning. Usual duties around 5:30. She hears the infant crying because there are 3 kids: 8-year-old, 5-year-old, and an infant. Infant is crying. She's knocking on the door, knocking on the windows. Nobody's answering. She thinks, let's break this door down. She gets a dude, hey hubby, gardener, can you break this down? He goes, I'm not breaking any door down. You can see both the cars are here. Let's call the cops.
Good idea.
Because they could be fighting inside.
Yeah, good
they
idea.
Call the cops. The cops come in. Everybody's knocking windows. Whatever is obvious. Nobody's responding. The cops said, no, we'll break it down. We're the cops. They break down the door. They see the woman's body in the lounge.
Jesus.
The infant is crying. The maid take the infant. The 8-year-old is quiet.
That's shock.
The 5-year-old, hello.
That's another shock.
You know, daddy was
triggered.
holding mommy here.
Oh,
and then,
gosh.
so where's daddy? Oh, daddy's in the bedroom. He's sleeping. The guy had died. So there's an empty nest protocol that just is activated there. Hey, this is a very serious podcast.
It's heavy.
You know, there's an empty nest protocol that is just activated there. And it may seem as though it is the extreme, but that's what's happening now. COVID, you almost died. But some people have, some folks have died in terms of what they can bring to the table.
Yes.
Economically.
The last 2 years have been hectic, bruh.
Companies have shut down.
Yes.
Earning capacities.
We've lost a couple clients.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't want to work with us anymore. And it's scary for me. And I'm supposed to be capable.
You know what I mean?
And I felt the pressure.
And now, fuel has gone up.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, it's gone up. I'm driving. How I was driving on Friday and how I'm driving today are 2 different drivings because I'm thinking.
But you know you're going to get used to it. Then you're going to balance it out, right?
Yeah, because they know you're going to complain for maybe 24 hours.
That's
and then,
it.
whatever. You know what I mean? But fuel has gone up. Because fuel has gone up, everything is going to go up.
Yeah.
My fee is going to go up.
Of course.
Your spares are going to go up.
Yes.
Food is going to go
Yes.
up.
The
You know
whole
what I mean?
life.
Everything is just going to flip a switch. For some people, they're fortunate enough not to have to rely on the local currency.
Yes.
They can rely on Forex.
Yes.
And so they can always adapt. They can always increase their rates in terms of Forex.
Yeah.
But there are those guys, the majority, that are relying on the local currency.
Yeah.
How they slept on Friday and how they're going to wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
The cost of the cost of living has just gone up.
Yeah.
So everything is going to go. And then his boss is going to say, my guy, we're going to have to cut your salary because we can't handle.
The company's got to survive.
This company's got to survive. And then you're going to have those that are going to have to consolidate their businesses and let people go.
So then the strain comes down.
Yeah. So he's going to let the man go. And the guy's going to go home to a wife who may not be working, to children that are at school, that need to be fed. There's so much pressure already because he knows he's not going to be able to find another job anytime soon.
So he might not even make it home.
He might not make it home, number one. Number two, yes, everybody's supposed to assume you should be able to have some sort of a hustle. But for some of those that have
You know
that wake up at
urume.
6, he wakes up at 6 to start his security guard shift.
Yeah.
And then he goes home. He finishes his shift at 6.
Yeah.
He's got to
12-hour
go
shift.
home. 12-hour shift. So between hustling and
And
sleeping,
he's got to sleep.
where does he have downtime so that he can recharge?
Maybe that's why I need to ask you this. When pressure is put on us, urume.
Make a plan.
Yeah. What is that? How do we do that? Especially it's hectic in Zim. In South is there. South is on 40 something percent unemployment. For a country like that with more guns than us, it's crazy. It's a very dangerous sort of situation. But you've got that premises that's always there that urume, and make a plan. You've got to make a plan. I think that adds more pressure.
It does.
And it's not quantified properly.
No, it's not. It's not. They have no clue. When I say they, I'm not talking specifically to the significant others.
Yeah.
It's just society as a whole.
Yeah.
People have no clue until you go through it. Everybody will talk, COVID, this, COVID, that. But you can say, guys, you haven't been through it. You have no idea.
Yeah,
it's like talking to somebody who's been living with HIV for like 14 years.
Yeah.
And then someone says, HIV, come on, guys. What are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? But you have no clue what they go through.
Things. I have to make sure I'm okay. I'm eating right.
Every time,
Yeah.
every time. They have to make sure if they get a cut, they run away, or they just make sure they get a plaster and just make sure that they don't expose themselves.
Yeah.
They live a different sort of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so this guy's job is gone. What is he supposed to do? He can't think.
No, you won't.
Everything is just a mess.
Yeah.
And so when he then realizes, need to take care of this, take care of that, take care of this, take care of that, emptiness protocol kicks in. His whole world has collapsed. His whole world has crumbled. He's got nowhere to go. Bringing in the question that you brought in from the tweets, as in, where can a guy find a safe place, a safe space without being judged? The answer to that, they're very few. They're very few, because everywhere you go, you always feel as though you're being compared by society.
You are always compared.
You're always compared. Come on. What? Your wife, does she have a car? She doesn't have a car. Come on, is it in her name? You know what I mean? There's always that comparison that's going on. And so you're always feeling like you are falling short. And when you feel like you're falling short, you're not feeling celebrated.
You're not feeling celebrated.
And so you're not inspired to do anything more. And so what are you? You're just a resounding gong, effective nowhere. You know what I mean? You're not even part of a musical procession.
Ooh.
You're just there. You're just there. What's your next avenue? So why am I here?
Yeah.
And that's it.
So why am I here?
And that's it. So you have that.
So you don't have reason to live anymore.
You don't have. You don't have. And many people say, no, you always have a reason to live. You have a reason. No, he's got family, he's got this. But nobody's thinking about the psychological.
Yeah, what's in your head?
Yeah, what's in your head? Because people are drowning out there. Yeah. And I won't speak about South Africa or Malawi or whatever. Here in Zim, in the CBD, people are drowning.
You can tell. Someone's got this dazed look and they're just walking.
They're just walking.
When I was driving here, some guy just jaywalked and looked the other way. And I told my brother to, no, let's just slow, let him pass. Because, like you say, you have no idea what's in his head.
You have no idea.
And what they're going through and what he wants to be doing. If you bump him, he's made it. He's got a plan.
Yeah.
You go to hospital, gets a good meal, he's taken care of for a while.
That's it.
And he's going to move forward. People look at me, and I'll use myself as an example. And before COVID, I would like dress up and I'll be in a bow tie and all that sort of jazz. And I drive a Mercedes Benz. And I remember even my own family members would say things like, una namu. You know what I mean? Una namu. Crazy, una namu. You're all right. But like you say, the 20 or 10 minutes that I take from leaving my house to get to the office are probably the most intense because I'm alone. And now things are being processed in my head. I worry about the future of my kids. I want to give them a better life. I worry about the government. Is it going to give me another announcement and I lose money overnight? I worry about clients who, like now, they will tell you, no, Chris, we're going to do in-house design now. We don't need your services. And all of a sudden, 60% of my income is cut. I worry about my employees who now look at me and think, and I've always put them first before anybody else. If I had put myself first, I think I would look better. I would be flying to watch. Well, Liverpool is my team. I'll go and watch Liverpool every week.
For those that have the energy to watch 22 grown-ass men chasing a ball away for 90 minutes, Like, gosh, 90 whole minutes, 1.5 hours. That's a whole movie.
You know?
Know what I mean? 90 minutes.
And we love it, and we wear their t-shirts. But
Tell you, yeah, you go for it.
a lot of the suicides that you find are people in my position that you find out there. There was no indication whatsoever. There was none. It's my producer who's going on a Saturday, and he comes here and he makes his music, and he doesn't go home. He kills himself. And people are like, but wait a minute, he had a lot of things going for him. Like so I said, I'll give myself as an example. Those say, he's got a lot of things going for him. He was always trying to do this and put things together. I didn't even see that coming. I don't think we don't see it. I think we choose not to see it.
We turn a blind eye.
Yeah, because there's so many like red flags out there that you can tell. A lot of them. But because we are also carrying something, I couldn't be bothered. Yeah, let me handle mine. I've taken Brad home today. I've done something. But this is the thing. I think now more than ever, your Disney fascination about forever sort of scenario is needed. Where the other one understands you more and understands what you're going through and almost can in sync with what's going through, what you're going through. Because half the time when we get fed up with the other one, it's purely because of that. Because now all of a sudden, you don't recognize that I'm struggling. You don't recognize that it is hard here. And no, we all can't just go to another country and make it. Half the population there isn't making it itself. So in those who are doing it, how is that even going to work? It takes money to do that. So if you don't find that one person with jelly babies in your side pocket, and the other person is in the back seat all the time, that's the person that you don't want. It's what makes this better. But we don't have that now. In Zimbabwe, I'll tell you what Zimbabwe does. A silly story that I heard recently. This, and I heard it a lot. This guy decides to sleep with the maid. Maid is young. Very young. And when I was listening to the story, I was like, what drove him to do it? Demonic. Come on, it must be a demon, right? He's like late 40s. And this chick is like just on the final teens before she turns into 20s. Like 19. That's like your kid sort of scenario. So what drove you to get to that? It came back to me. He was never given the acknowledgement. And everybody who's at that age is in awe of people like that. They'll come up and say, the boss. She'll come up and say, yes, you are the boss. And look at you with such reverence. You know, like people look at the pastors and everything else, and people in power.
Don't get me started on pastors.
I know. Man. That's why I said it. But they're on that tip. And he had a sexual affair with her. Girl was asked, but why? Why'd you do that? He said, I will have that spot where this other person is right now. And when I heard that, so he made a promise to her to take out the main house to replace her. Did he do it to get a cheap thrill? Or he loved that feeling of where he felt important? Because that person, each time she would see him, her eyes would probably open. The other person, akujairira. When is the last time they came up to you and said, hey, you probably had a difficult day. I love you. I want you to know that. And gave you water or something before you even got to your room to change and all that sort of stuff. Those little things. We are celebrated, and in this case, respected in that scenario. Where? It's gone. Now, it's very much like, hey, it's wrong. Borodor Race Course, Calvin the Planner, balloons, Range Rover. $1 million house. $1 million house? Do people know what $1 million looks like? $1 million. Have you ever seen $1 million? Have you ever seen $1 million?
No, I haven't.
$1 million United States dollars. Dude. And that's a house. That house is probably going to need about 10,000 maintenance every month. Because a house needs to be taken care of. People don't know that. It's not an asset. It's a liability. A house is a liability unless it gives you something. And since it's not Airbnb, you're going to be taking care of it. So that's a liability. $1 million house. Little us, me and my brother here, we'll be like $1 million. You know what I could do with $1 million? University's taken care of. Both kids.
That's it.
Yeah, university taken care of.
That's it.
You, dream car, which will not even knock over 100K. It won't.
That's it.
You might even buy it broken down and build it yourself.
That's it.
Workshop, sorted, all the tools you needed, all the gadgets you wanted. You've sorted it out. It's now at spec. You got a bigger team. Your legacy is cemented with $1 million. Someone is buying a house. There's no middle class in Zimbabwe.
No, there isn't.
You and I are poor.
There's no middle class. That was eroded years ago.
Yeah. You and I are poor. Rich people, 50K, Arsenal, private jet. That's rich. This is a heavy topic.
It's
I've been able to quiet him down totally. So I'm going to manage him now. Watch me manage him now. You know why I brought this up?
Yeah.
It's because it gives the prevalence of us looking for ships. Because we're not celebrated in those instances. That guy you're talking about, when he's walking back home, in the neighborhood, hey, Baba Thomas, Mabasa Quinda, ha, Mabasa Kaoma, no, Baba Thomas, don't worry about that. Shanaga, Titica, look, Siam Chubapana Susanaka, I tend to know Rumagadaro, or Ubrachichaga, Tabazadaro, Toto Faranash, Dokunamangwana Thomas. Slow seduction is being managed. Even the unemployed guy has got a ship, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
And you do the most for his ship.
That's it.
Yeah. And it brings you back to why and how they're so prevalent. They're prevalent because the main ship is not taking care of the business. That's it. People come to us and they ask, no, I hate that statement that says, all men cheat.
No.
You know what I mean? I hate that statement.
No.
And I saw something different recently. All men cheat. I think it's because we're not good at hiding it. Women are the most secretive, and I said it in the first and second podcast, and the most dangerous creatures on this planet. No, don't take me wrong. I love women. I've got 2 daughters. This is how God has got a sense of humor. Oh, Chris, that's what you think about women. Boom, 2 daughters. And that's it. I've only got 2 daughters in the whole world. And it brings that up.
I like the way you say in the whole world. No, today I'm so quiet. It's amazing. I can't even.
It's a deep one.
I can't even.
He's been managed. But when you think about it, it's the only reason why we got ships. Why you get distracted? Because you're seeking, and you said it in a couple of things. Affection. I want to be celebrated. And it's the only reason that it's there. Take that away, centralize it in one person who does that and gives you all of that. In the case, if you do happen to find the one, which I always wanted to ask, Mr. Producer, did you find the one?
You know, that laugh from Chris is yeah. We'll leave it right there. Yeah, because you do know that his significant other is going to listen to this, and yeah. Anyway, so moving on. Like you're saying, women are they're very cunning.
Very.
And they know how to manage.
100%.
They know how to manage. Now, there's an element of, for those that don't understand the vernacular, kujairirana is just to get too familiar.
Yeah.
The element of kujairirana from the main house or the main individual, or from the wife, or from the main person of interest in case you're not married. Mm-hmm. There's that element of getting too familiar. And once you get too familiar, there's certain things that you begin to drop the ball on. And when you drop the ball on that, there's always a way of managing. But when you then forgo the need to manage, that is when he begins his stages, the different shifts that begin to occur. When you don't know how to manage a guy sensually and sexually, he'll stay there mentally and emotionally, but he's going to find his release elsewhere.
Why not a man cave?
It's because sometimes a man cave doesn't give you a release. It can give you an excitement. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes. It can give you an excitement.
Let's get a hobby.
Yeah. It's okay to have a man cave. It's okay to have a hobby. But there's sometimes when you also need to have a release. I like some people that say, oh, you know, sex is the thing that keeps a marriage together. Oh, no. Sex is just there to release. Full stop. Everybody's got pent up.
Wait, so sex keeps the family together?
No.
Yeah.
It won't. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It is falsehood. So for those that are going to want to use that as some sort of an argument, please don't waste my time. It's not. Sex is not a glue. It's not. It is advisable for you to have sex with your spouse and with your significant other. It's advisable so that you have you have your release together.
Okay.
Just that sexual tension.
Oh, so sex will give you a connection, though.
No, that's nonsense.
Really?
That's nonsense. That's nonsense. You don't need to connect to have sex. You're telling me that every guy, exactly, every prostitute is having a connection with a client? That's nonsense. I mean, people need to think outside the box. Don't be so myopic, Chris. Come on, you just come out of COVID death. You should be able to think
I'm
better.
telling you what they say.
It's nonsense. Utter rubbish. Utter rubbish. You know,
you're speaking like a man.
No, I'm speaking realistically. It's utter rubbish.
So why do they say this stuff?
Because they need to keep you in the loop.
Exactly.
They need to. Remember, we spoke about how society makes people do certain things.
So our society needs to be rebooted, right?
Because society needs to push an agenda.
For who?
For themselves.
Who is the society? It's us. It's a collective.
Yeah, it's a collective. But you're not going to hear me say that sex is a necessary part to make sure that your marriage works. That's nonsense.
And they push it, eh?
They push it, but it's a lie.
You know, that's the first thing that they say when a couple is having challenges.
Yeah, they
How you
lie.
having sex?
The reason why they ask is, are you relieving and releasing yourself? You releasing your pent up energies or pent up stress to each other. That's why they're asking. Are you having sex? Are you finding your point of release and relief one to another?
No, you're making it simple for them. You're actually putting it into a context that actually means sense.
No,
them, they don't say
that's
that.
What I'm saying. No, that's what they should be saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's why they're asking. They just ask because they've heard other people asking. No, we're not having sex. That's where the problem is. It's not about unfaithfulness. That unfaithfulness is not the issue here.
No.
The issue is he can't find or she can't find release with you.
That's true.
Because you are being a nuisance.
Deep, I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he or she will find release and relief elsewhere.
Comfort,
that's it.
place
Now,
to rest.
exactly. So now when he gets to a place where he can release and relieve himself in a place that then accommodates his insecurities and then accommodates his failings and resonates with what he's going through and helps him and inspires him and motivates him, they become from just a sexual encounter to the fourth ship. Because of that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what happens is those that are the significant others or the spouses just don't want to pay attention. Because they get to a point of entitlement.
Yeah, you've used that word before.
Yeah. And they assume.
You know what, you're so right.
Yeah. They assume he's not going anyway. Worse off.
This is why I brought up an argument to podcasts.
Yeah,
it's when you say you're married.
Yeah,
honey,
he's not going anywhere.
Yes.
And then what makes it worse is if both of you are churchites, you know.
And they just sit.
Yeah.
So you don't work on it anymore.
No, you don't. And I'm going to throw this now.
Babies on the trip to Cape Town.
And I'm going to put this out, and I know we're going to get a lot of flack. Going to church is not being a Christian.
No.
Yeah, I need to throw it out there.
No,
and because
and
people are churchites. Yeah, there's a different dynamic that people live in when they think when you go to church. They assume certain things.
Yeah,
which they shouldn't.
Yeah,
that's a false. It's not even biblical. You know what I mean? They assume certain things that the person should think in a certain way and should react in a certain way regardless of the external forces. Forgetting that what they are going through also needs somebody who's going to be on par with them to assist them as a human being.
Yeah, and be real.
Be
100% real.
But most people just forget about that.
Yeah, they use these old doctrines that really don't apply.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so everything is unique, like you'd say.
Yeah, and so what happens is that now I'm speaking Christianese, that element of entitlement, that element of he ain't going nowhere or she ain't going nowhere, makes you then not do anything, not work. And so
the words they use for that
what
is that sort of thing. Where they tie you down with certain salutations that's supposed to be
that's nonsense.
Yeah,
that's nonsense.
But someone could have checked out a long time ago.
Ooh, a long time is an understatement. You know, and so there's certain things that a man will assume his wife is going to do because of the element that she's the wife. And we're not talking about duties, as in she is the one that makes sure the home is running perfectly well, and he brings the money. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about the significance of having somebody who you can release and relieve and just spend quiet time with without any stress. Just watch a movie together, not sitting on the same couch, but literally shoulder to shoulder, arm around each other, that kind of stuff.
You know why I like what you just said? Because I want to bring something up. Exactly in line with what you're saying. Once people have kids, there's certain things like we live for the kids.
Yeah.
And they put in that statement, I gave you kids instead of scenario. But I don't think there was ever one man in this whole entire world ever who says, I want to marry you because I want to breed with you.
I concur with that.
Never in this whole particular thing. So, like you said, this sense of entitlement comes in things like, I gave you kids. I said, I thought it took two tango.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
To have that.
It's not like, there was only one Jesus.
I'm not taking away the 9 months and the labor and stuff like that. But you do know that there was labor that we also had to go through for that to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, to follow to what you're saying is that level of entitlement, because it's entitlement. And everything else. But, and like some mentor of mine once said, is that, look, you can have kids anyway. Anybody can give you kids.
Anybody, and in the same vein, anybody can give you sex.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anybody can do it, but not everybody can allow you a place of release and relief.
Love you, right? And
just accommodate you at that moment in time in terms of, hey, my day was like this, it was like that, or like this. Especially now. Or somebody who will look at you and say, you're not okay. You're not feeling well. Sit down.
I would love to hear that one day.
You know what I mean? You're not okay. Sit down. No, you're looking tired. Sit down. No, sit down. Hey, you're not okay. Let me rub your neck. Let me rub your back. Let me touch your feet.
And reciprocally, you can do the same.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because by virtue of you doing it for them, to them, then they just do it back to you. And so you find a place where you can release yourself and relieve yourself. And it's not just a sexual aspect. Just touch. You know, or just an intellectual release. Go, oh shucks, man, this side happened. Oh really? Oh okay, right. And then when they've done releasing and whatever they're going processing, it is not the other person's time to then say, oh, but then we need this. Already you've lost it. He's never going to release again. You know what I mean? That's why the fourth ship is so dangerous, because when he releases and reveals and makes himself vulnerable for that 5 seconds or that 10 seconds or that 15 seconds, it's not. It doesn't end that he's done and he's just exhausted and he's told her what he went through. She then says, okay, fine, cool, I hear you. Do you want to eat something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What else do you need? Okay, fine. And then she attends to that.
Where do you find those people?
No, they're there. They're there. And the ones that know how to manage you.
Oh!
Yeah. Once you know how to get...
Shout out to you, manager.
Once she knows how to manage you, she can walk and get hit on and have experiences 10 other folk.
Oh my goodness.
But once she gets to you and she manages you, you're okay.
So women's biggest fault, and we say this in the beginning, I've always said it, they're the most powerful creatures. So when you're man or you're in a situation where you're unhappy, it's because you're not managing that man.
That's it.
Simple.
Hey,
he's cheating, whatever. Hey, he's not
manage that nonsense.
Hey, he's not paying school fees. Hey, he's not buying me a BCNT. You're not managing it.
That's it. Find out where his man is going. Don't harass him. Just find out. Find out where his mind is going, because where your treasure is, there lies your heart.
Where'd you get that line? That sounds like a movie line.
Some song. Yeah, and I think it's also in the Bible something. Yeah, I'll look it up. But where your treasure is, there lies his heart.
Sounds a very good line.
Yeah, and treasure is not
things
just
that you value.
Yeah, it's not just money. It's just things that you value. Yeah. Where is he spending his time and his energy?
Yeah.
Where is it? Because a man...
Jeez, that's so profound.
Yeah, because that's how we define ourselves.
That is... I'm going to write that down. It's quite profound, actually.
That's how we define ourselves. A man defines himself by what he has accomplished and how he accomplishes it. And our how is also defined in relation to where we're like just chilling and recharging and feeling like we are relevant.
Which are 9 times out of 10, we don't.
Yeah. And so when you get to a point where this poor lack decides to go and kill his girlfriend, he got to a point where how he had defined himself for 3.5 odd years.
Akasina support structure emuzoti Myers.
Maybe he did. Maybe he
it's deep, V. Maybe you and I are not that, but take a
things
gun.
Matters of the heart.
And consciously go and say, I'm gonna kill you.
When Samson got married in the Bible, and then he disappeared somewhere, came back later, and he was looking for his wife, and then his wife was given to somebody else, and then he goes, but guys, why did you do this? And they said, no, but guy, you hit out. We didn't know where you went. We didn't know whether you're coming back, and we couldn't have just left her there chilling. What did he do? He went out and he went and killed some. He went and did some great feat, of strength, and he just sorted a lot of people.
Energized.
Yeah, because there's times when you just react. This guy reacted and just took the gun. Matters of the heart are deadly. Sometimes you just do stuff and you have no clue what's going on. But then if she was able to manage him, that's where it all boils down to being managed. Because all a man wants to do is just to feel good about himself.
The word talks about that. Managed.
Yeah. Because the man has aged. So how are you going to be able to deal with the new age that is put on?
Mm-hmm.
Deal with it. Once you deal with it, you're done. You're secure for days. For days.
Why is it those in the ships, especially the opposite of whoever is coming into the ship, is able to identify with that? Is it because you don't have the pressures of then having to go home and having all that stuff? This is why I brought that home marriage thing.
Say that again?
Why is it those other people who manage seem to have a knack of doing that?
Of being able to manage?
Yes. Why is it the other individuals don't seem to know this? Is it because, you got a ring on your finger, you become dumb and oblivious to that? Like you said, entitlement.
No.
You know why I'm bringing this up, right?
Yeah, I've got a train of thought. I'm looking there so I don't pay attention because I'll lose it. I've got a train of thought.
What I mean is that it goes back to the whole thing that once someone has been given, and I'm going to say this outright, it's me who's saying it, not you. Someone has been given the ring of entitlement. They lose it. They lose totally the whole thing of being able to manage someone.
Because
you sit on your laurels.
Because of the same group of people who call society. They have a predefined operating procedure for a wife and a predefined operating procedure for a husband. Do you understand? And so when people get married, they want to associate themselves with that definition. Yeah? And when they want to associate themselves with that definition, they forget that that's not a definition that should define you as husband and wife. It's merely just sort of like a guideline, but we have adopted it as that's how we should define ourselves. So the mindset of entitlement comes in where society's definition of a wife is one who is betrothed to a man, and there are legal parameters to that, and will be faithful to him. They don't talk about the issues of one who becomes the support structure, the number one cheerleader, the number one go-to person, the place of relief for the man. They don't talk about that.
Okay, all the romantic movies, all that line that says for sickness and health, that line, those lines, you remember those lines?
Yeah.
Those lines mean that.
They mean that.
Yeah,
they mean that.
They do
but,
mean that.
But society is different. But like I'm saying, wife, they don't talk about that. This is the thing we spoke about last week's podcast, where when they're going for premarital counseling, they're talking about these arty-farty things, and they don't get to the real nitty-gritty that, you know what? Your job, woman, is to make sure that this guy becomes the best version of who he is sitting next to you right now. And that version is dependent upon how he sees himself 10 years from now. So how he sees himself is, if he's a clerk and he sees himself as a manager, then she needs to push the agenda that he should see himself as a CEO within the time frame he's giving himself to become a manager. Respect.
Even as a janitor, she must respect him.
Because she should not see him as a janitor, but see him as the owner of the building. Yeah. And so what she does then, everything that she does will celebrate him where he is, but inspire him to go to the next level.
Yeah.
But they're not told that. Because being a woman is hard work. Being a wife is hard work.
That's what they're told.
No, that's what I'm telling them now. Because don't see me as the society sees me. See me as a level above. Vice versa. Tell the guy, she needs to be the best version of herself. If she sees herself as a housewife, then you got to see her as an entrepreneur who's using the house as a base. So he's then motivated to make sure that she elevates herself. And while he's doing that, she's being motivated to make sure that she motivates him to be the best version of himself. So everything is working hand in glove. Yeah? Hence my definition of forever. You understand? Because you're always looking.
To burn that right now?
No, because you're always looking for a way to try and elevate each other. Yes, it's not always going to be 100%. But even when things are down, even when the chips are down, that element of wanting to say, Shai, you made me upset, but then when the fourth ship or the other ship arrives, it's because somewhere, somehow in the mix, you skipped a gear, not just once or twice, but you skipped it for a lot of moments that he then couldn't get the value from you because you decided, no, come on, I'm the wife. You don't do jack. You're not going anywhere. You're the husband. You must do this. And it's like, yeah, but
you know what? It even transcends into our culture, though.
Yeah. You know,
those statements kind of come into that.
Yeah, and so there's certain things that she assumes he must do because he says he's your husband. No. At the end of the day, he's still an own who needs to have his ego stroked and needs to be celebrated and respected to a degree for him to then satisfy what you want. But if you're not going to feed him, why should... Yeah. If you're going to assume that he's just going to do it, why then should he do it for you?
There's no motivation.
Yeah, that's it.
For me, it's a respect.
That's it. There's no motivation.
Yeah.
And you're failing to manage the guy.
So what is it? They've crossed the line where they don't believe in respect anymore? I was once told that I don't respect you straight to my face.
Yeah, no, they've crossed the line.
I was told that, and I say to myself that, okay, so that's it.
Yeah, and now here's the other thing that we need to also throw out there. A lot of people are going to assume that we're using the word respect and defining it in terms of everywhere he goes, you are kneeling at his feet and you are licking his feet and all that stuff. No, what we're defining as respect is an acknowledgement of his existence, an acknowledgement of his role. Yeah. He may not be bringing the money he's remember doing, but an acknowledgement of that. I was watching some movie years ago. It was a movie, but there was something that was pretty deep about it. The wife was the breadwinner. Mm-hmm. He had a menial job. When they dated, she was okay with it. Then when they got married, she was now lording it over him. And she started trying to figure out, why is this guy just, disconnecting with me? What's going on? And then she went to see the pastor, and it's the T.D. Jakes movie. And then he goes, yeah, but he's still the man.
He's still a man.
He's still the man.
He's still a man.
Yeah, he's got no
sheets. He's got no money, no big car.
But if you're going to go to a fancy restaurant and you're going to go with your friends, what stops you from giving him your credit card and letting him swipe? Pay. It's your credit card, but you're a husband and wife.
You're so right.
You know what I mean? But nowadays, it's no. You do. No. You do. No. You do.
I dated a girl, I'll use your language here, years ago.
He rolled his eyes, so it wasn't years ago.
No, it's years ago. Before my kids, before my baby, the mother of my kids.
Yeah.
I met her. Accomplished lady. She was a lawyer it was really those times when Zim was really funny looking. And me and my business partner just said, hey, let's start our agency. It was the worst time to do it. I quit I quit a middle management job, and I said, I just want to start something. And we were surviving on $10 for the whole month, rent and food. And I remember one time we were actually trying to fry some polony. It's weird times like that. So we're not doing great. But I met this girl, and I think she knew me from school. And she always had a crush. Do you remember me? So. Of course I do. And we started talking. And because she had a crush, she was crazy about me. And over time, got cool with her. She was really cool person. Got along very well. But I wasn't there. I was starting a company in the worst time, and we didn't have money. Clients were not as many as we could, and we were just struggling. She was working for a fuel company, and she was being paid. I remember that she was saving a salary, which was $3,000 US.
Wow.
Yeah, saving all of it. Because the fuel allowance
was enough
for her to put up a flat, take her kid to school, get all the food she wants to. It was enough.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the girl. And I had nothing. I was walking to go and see her. But, and I think we pushed for a couple months. Then she had a birthday. And she said, I'm having the birthday at this place. And then I was like, okay. So my friends are going to come. You can come too. The dynamics already shifted.
Yeah.
In that position.
Yeah.
No way did I feel like a man.
Yeah.
And I remember I got to the door, I saw her, wished her happy birthday, turned and left. Because the shingding there was enough money for a year for me.
Yeah.
In those sort of values. I didn't feel like a man. And that's the last, and then I broke it off immediately after that. I met her a couple months later. She came, what happened, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk. Okay, cool. You can come over to my flat. I went over to her flat. I went over to her flat around 4. Now, you can humor me. When you are invited to someone's house, what's the first thing that happens when you're invited to someone's house? I've come from somewhere. I was taught this by my mom and my dad. Unopiwa mvura.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like water to drink? Even white people do that.
Yeah.
I got to 9 o'clock, no water. From 4 to 9. No water. And 4 to 9, that's supper time, right?
That's it, yeah.
No food. So we all know what she wanted.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta go now. Why? Why aren't you staying? We're having a good conversation. Then I just lost in the turned around and said, because you don't feed me. I'm a man, I came here. You haven't even cooked any single thing. You might be accomplished, but you make a lousy wife. You may make a lousy girlfriend. So as much as this might be cool for you, I don't need you. I turned and I left. Before I got to the door, guess what she brought out as food? Just take a guess.
Biscuits.
Yes! Biscuits! And not just any biscuits, but the choice biscuits for Christmas. I turned and said, you know what, it's cool. You're a beautiful woman. Accomplished, rich, you're going to find the right man for her. She married a white guy from another country. And when I met him, he was like...
a midget.
Yeah. Because I think that sort of woman, that's what she can manage to control a certain person.
Yeah.
And it's key. And what people don't realize is that I speak all fancy and I've traveled, but the fundamentals are there. Respect.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and I found that's why ships exist. Is because they are alluded to giving respect.
You used those a very great word. You said to her, you didn't feed me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that and say a lot of these ships that are occurring, a lot of these affairs that are going on are because the significant other, the one that society terms as the spouse, is not feeding you.
No. It's not just food.
It's not just what you ingest into your stomach,
no.
But it's what you take into your heart, what you take into your spirit, what you take into your mind.
Yeah.
They don't feed you.
Yeah.
All they're doing is just sucking the life out of you.
Yeah.
They're always demanding, always whining, always pointing out a fault. And once you do that to any individual, and because this is a FedUp podcast, a guy show, every time you do that to a guy, what you've done is you've allowed him, you've given him the rights to disconnect
quickly.
quickly. And when you then see the results of the disconnect, when you see the results, that is not when the disconnect happened.
It happened kudara.
It happened kudara.
You're not just looking through a telescope and the ship is in the horizon.
Exactly. So that's case number one. Case number two is when the guy was always assuming that she's understanding, she's reciprocating, and then all of a sudden she says, no, I didn't want you in the first place.
Yeah.
He loses because his whole world crumbles. His whole world crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he goes and he shoots her. Why are there so many suicides? Everything is shutting down. Businesses, jobs are going. How your lifestyle is just dropped to such an extent that you don't see a way out. And so you have two options. Either you die or your brain just kicks into self-protect and you just go bonkers. And you don't commit suicide. You just go bonkers because literally, Chris, it has taken us, well, in Zim, literally 2 years or 24 months. But for us, it was kind of like 18 months, for some 12 months where you were $1,000 meant a lot. Now snap.
Yeah.
You know, come on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, $1.40 for a liter of fuel.
Most expensive in the region.
A liter of fuel is $1.40.
Yeah, other countries is 70 cents.
You know what I mean? $1.40 for a liter of fuel. How much is bread? It's like 120, 130, depending on what. So bread and a liter of fuel almost the same. So the amount of money somebody spent to get to work last week Friday and what they need to spend tomorrow up until this coming Friday has totally gone. He can't deal. And then when he gets home, somebody is not feeding him, yet they want to be fed by him all the time. And he's always pushing out. Always pushing out. No. There comes a time he's like, I can't. Don't talk to me about church. Don't talk to me about that, because church isn't there. Church is there when it's time for them to have fun and they're getting your tithe and they're getting your offering and they're and they're at your and you are at the big Sunday and you put the numbers and you are there to do hospitality and clean the church and you're in the choir. Church is fantastic, but when the brown stuff hits the fan, where are they? Where the hell are they? You know what I mean? They are not there.
I can agree to that.
Everybody that was behind you when you were getting to the next level, they're not there. So you can't go to them and say, guys, what do I do? Because they were like, you know what, be a man. That's what it, man up. You know, man up. But how do I do it? Nobody told me. Yeah, go read this book. Hey, I'm speaking to you because clearly you've read it, so share with me.
But they're not there. They can't.
Yeah, share with me. Those are the question that you posed from the tweet.
Yeah.
Where can a guy find a place just to rest?
Yeah.
And you share with me. He can't go home to his wife because she's just whining and griping and So somebody is gonna figure out, hey, this dude.
Some ship
is gonna be like, and then, she may not even plan it.
It just happens.
It just happens. That he says something and she responds in a way that his soul identifies, his heart identifies, and his mind. Forget the body. It's not sexual because he can get sex anywhere. You know what I mean? But it's about how she makes him feel, how she motivates his emotions. You get it? And so that's how she manages him, because she molds his emotions. And she'll manage him in a way that if she says, I need this, she's not going to ask for the world. It might just be, I need a loaf of bread.
But she asks in the scope of what you can do.
Exactly.
It's never out of the scope of what you cannot do.
Exactly.
It's always in that. So that's why I've always said to myself that surely someone that's been there should be able to identify that. Stop being in the back seat and being the person with the
But the one that's always been there, the one that's gone into the back, has climbed over into the back seat, they've just zoned out and are in a place of entitlement.
My fear is this: when they cross over, even the ships, the ones that no one can manage, won't that be the case?
Not really. I'll put it to you
because
this way.
They've gone through hell or something, or what?
That's it. Let me throw this out there for women that want to understand why their husbands are having an affair. Let me throw this. I want you to go through a train of thought. This is because of something that I've seen with the mates that are around me and just with people that I've come across. Ooh, I've just said mates around me because I was the thing. So who are his friends? No, we're just seeing people around me.
Yeah, it's people around you.
Let me put it this way. Your husband is gonna find someone else.
Yes.
Not because he went out to look for her, but because he met her along the way. When he got home and he said, "Shucks, I can't deal. It's just so hectic." And you said, "Okay, sorry, Richaita. By the way, we need bread tomorrow."
Timing.
You've just heard.
Timing.
You know what I mean? You've just heard. And then he meets somebody, and then he goes, "Shucks, this is what I've just been through." They'll look at him and say, "You know what? Hang on. Hang in there." And then instead of focusing on what you have failed to do, they begin to bring up, they can even change topic to bring up issues of stuff that you have done well before. And you are then reminded of how much of a person you are.
The superstar.
The
hero.
You are reminded of that. So she has fed you.
Flips, like, how do your kids look at you?
Exactly. So she feeds you where your spouse didn't. It's just a fraction of a second. That's all it takes. Where she feeds you. For that, and when she feeds you good, boss.
So that is a demon.
It's not a demon. And the demon is not the person that's feeding you. It's the one that's not feeding you. I think we need to get that straight. we need to get that straight.
That was Vusa, not me.
We need to get that straight. You understand? But then you have these guys that are suicidal and they're having mental breakdowns. They've given their all in every aspect, and they can't find anything else. These are the people that are just loyal to a fault.
I sent that line to a friend when he heard one of the podcasts. He agreed. Men are like dogs.
Dogs.
Loyal.
And so when things just fall apart, he's got nowhere to go, and the fuses just pop out.
Yeah.
They just pop and everything just shuts down until let me just kill myself. Because it can't handle it. You know, you've just run out of options. And it kills. And like what we said, this guy who shot his girlfriend and said, "No, he must pay, he must die as well." He died.
A long time ago.
He died when she said that to him.
I don't want to be with you.
Yeah, he died. His whole world crumbled. And because society says, "Man up," a lot of dimwits out there are going to say, "No, Vusa Chris, you guys are lying. He's a man." Exactly. You are the dimwit because you within yourself are failing to realize that you have faults and you have flaws. And there is a weakness within you that has not been exploited yet, but it's coming.
But it's coming.
It's coming soon.
Yep.
Are you going to be able to exactly? Are you going to be able to deal with it?
You will fall faster than the other guys.
Exactly. And now here's the deal. For some of those that have gotten to ships, they got to a point, a very low point, that if the ship had not been there,
it could have been a different story.
Could have been a different story right now.
Alcoholism, drugs.
Yeah. He'll be just pimping himself out.
Yeah, physical abuse and all that sort of
stuff. Yeah. I'm going to say this. There's going to be a lot of flack. Oh my God.
Stop saying it'll be flack. It'll be fine. For me, it's things we need to talk about.
Sometimes spouses, the wives, must be grateful that there's a woman on the side.
Balancing stuff out for you.
Yeah. Because if there wasn't a woman, there would be multiple women. Or there'll be alcoholism.
You know what's funny?
Or there'll be drug abuse into the house.
I heard a story. This woman told us a story, point blank, where she was this ship. And the relationship, for me, anything that goes over 6 months is you're getting to know each other extensively. You now know each other.
Yeah.
And this one ran for about 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And the guy was married, and he started an affair with this woman. And this woman was with him. So it was just the woman and his wife. The wife got wind of it, came to this woman's place, smashed windows, everything else. Spoke to where the woman was staying. I think she was staying with her father at that time. And the father said, "Get out of my house. I don't have a daughter who does that." She told the guy. The guy found her a place, put her up.
Wow.
That's why I say once you get to a certain point. And then they pushed. with this relationship. The wife found it again, went to the workplace, shouted. The ship went to the guy and said, this is what she's done. The guy, right there, phoned the wife. Sha, this is what it is. If you got a problem with this, you can leave.
That's it.
You can leave. But this is what it is. She's here to stay.
That's it.
Guess what happened? Hey, dude ain't picking up his phone. I don't know where he is. Is he with you? No, he's not with me right now. Because, let me find him. Where are you? So and so. I'm coming there. The ship goes and finds him. He was having a party with his friends. She got there. She goes, I don't like this party. It's having too many. Wifey, I found him. Your heart can be rest. We're together now. It's okay. That's how the relationship became. The wife would call the ship to find out if everything was okay in that scenario.
Shucks.
That's how it became. I think he didn't want to leave his first wife. He found something in the ship, and he was happy with it. He was happy with the scenario. So much so that he made the ultimatum. If you don't want to be here,
that's fine, you can go.
You can go. I think the generation of our fathers before us are those sort of men.
Now, because society, which is an evil thing,
put so much pressure on us, it makes us into simps. These little wimps that are out there.
And because there's just no place. Long years ago, they say, no, you must go to church, it'll help you. It's not helping.
No, it doesn't. It's wrong.
And COVID, there was no church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Church doesn't help. Church is one of the major distractions in anything.
If not, that's where you get it worse, actually.
Yeah. The church has got so many distractions that you don't concentrate on the real issues.
Yeah.
My gosh. But anyway, it's another podcast. And so, like I said, a lot of people are going to comment with, the wife must be grateful there's a woman on the side because, look, take it like that. Take it as it is.
Killed you.
He could have come back. He would have killed you. He could have walked away and not come back
at all.
Now
you're stuck.
I'm now worried because there are guys out there. This is a very somber podcast. There are guys out there that
too passionate.
that they've got nowhere to go. Literally nowhere to go.
Nobody wants them.
No, exactly. Nobody wants them. They've got nowhere to go, and the first thing they're thinking of is, let me just kill myself, or the only thing they can think of is let me wallow in self-pity and just die.
Yeah.
All I can say to that is, like how some companies just restructure.
Oh, okay, so they should restructure.
They need to restructure. Companies restructure. They retrench, just to stay afloat. Find something that will just get you to stay afloat.
A friend.
Family
member.
A workmate. Someone where you can just get to the bare minimum before going over the edge.
Yeah.
Just to stay afloat for now, for the time being. Because, number one, you're going to die today. Your company is going to find somebody to replace tomorrow.
I thought about that when I was playing.
Your company is going to find somebody to replace tomorrow. The car that you had is going to be sold and given to some loud.
So I was already looking at it.
You know what I mean? Or your brother's going to come and just pick it up and he's just going to smash it in a month. You know what I mean? And the other thing is, you're going to die today. Literally, your wife can
get married in 2 months.
It's not a train smash, and then your children will be calling somebody else dad.
Someone has said that to me, and I've always used that as an inspiration to think. One of the people that I miss the most is my dad.
Yeah.
When I had an issue, I was young then, and I broke down like a little wimp.
Yeah.
He sat me down and he said, "I did not raise you like this."
That's it.
So what are you worried about? That she's gone? And I said, "Yes, she broke my heart and she's gone, and she's the one I love." He says something to me. He says, "Maruaganda." There are many flowers out there. The problem is that you're looking at one.
That's it.
Yeah, you need to just raise up your head. And that's the thing I would say to those who want to commit suicide. Is just raise up your head and look around.
There's an alternative. What does I say? Not saying something that while we're talking, I was writing something. I'll put it on tomorrow, maybe on the status. I said, choice is that moment of inspiration that occurs when the immediate environment is overshadowed by the opportunity of purpose.
Say that again.
Choice is that moment of inspiration that occurs when the immediate environment is overshadowed by the opportunity of purpose.
So how do you think of this stuff?
It just comes.
That's deep, though.
That's why I had to write it down. And you're saying, what are you? I had to write it down because, So many a time we fail to come up with an alternative choice because we are not looking for a purpose. And suicide or mental breakdown comes about because there's no purpose. But my encouragement is find somewhere where you can get purpose. Raise your head. Look up. You will find something.
Yeah.
It's not going to be $1 million deal.
No.
It's going to be $8 deal or a 50-cent deal.
Yeah.
But use that as your purpose. Use that to get up and go. Because falling down is easy.
Yeah.
Falling down is easy. Getting up is the issue. When we were learning how to drive, for those that are outside of normal English-speaking countries, you term it stick shift. Here we just call it a manual drive.
Yeah.
When you're learning how to drive your manual shift and you're doing a hill start, the engine will stall.
Yeah.
But the reaction from stalling the engine is what is priceless. You can have a very bad way of reacting to it and start the car while it's in gear, out of panic.
Yeah.
Or you do the thing, handbrake, put in neutral, put your foot on the clutch, start the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you
go
try again. And many a time, many people just panic. And they react. Consolidate yourself.
Yeah, I always also wanted to say, there's always that one person who can listen to you.
Always.
Yeah, very close to me. There was somebody who was going through a very difficult time, and you saw the red flags. And I took them to a very weird thing. One of our clients, whatever, has got a restaurant, and they were doing painting for kids and adults. And I said, bring your kids, and you too. What am I going to do? I can't even paint. I said, no. This you need. Just go. Paintings were terrible. The ugliest paintings I've ever seen in adult that we put together. But the joy and the relief, and all they said is that you listen to me.
That's it.
Other people don't listen to me. They think that I got it together. I'm smiling, or that thing. I advocate that everybody just finds one person to talk to. But warn them, you're going to offload stuff. Because some people can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people give you the wrong thing. Sometimes, if not 90% of the time, we just want someone to hear us out. Because where we were, or where we are, people don't listen. All we want is someone just to say, no, talk. And that's where those who manage you in the ships are very good at. They're brilliant at that. They'll let you speak, and your voice is heard. So those who are in those sort of situations, someone wants to hear from you.
Be savage. Sometimes, he says, don't waste your words on everybody. Because sometimes your greatest speech comes when you're quiet.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that Ronan Keating song. You say it best when you say nothing at all.
You know, I heard that podcast recently. I was listening to that, and that guy. You know, we should actually have like snippets of music. Every song that you actually think about should start playing sometime.
Because
inside.
Sometimes I don't want you to say anything.
Yeah.
Just keep quiet.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Just hold my hand.
Yeah.
Just lean your head on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm okay. You know? No, you don't kiss me.
Yeah.
You know, don't rub me. No, just hold my hand.
Yeah.
You know, or just touch my arm.
That gesture alone.
Yeah, just touch my arm.
Yeah.
Or touch my shoulder. Touch my bicep. You know? Or just hug me. There's nothing that I'm looking for other than that.
Yeah.
Find a place to rest.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a killer world out there. I just want a place where I can say, thanks. Allow me to feel comfortable to cry in your space.
Yeah.
There's a song, Big Men Don't Cry. Oh, that's demonic. You're allowed to cry. Because crying is not a place of sorrow. Crying is a place of relief and release.
Yeah. Otherwise, you don't know punda one.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Kill someone.
And then the question is, can I cry in front of you?
Yeah.
Can I
be
cry to you?
vulnerable in front of you?
Can I cry and then tell you later that I cried?
Yeah. And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do that.
A lot of people can't do that. And especially in society has said men can't do that. Because it says it doesn't define you as a man. And you lose it.
I I met my other brother last week. He's older than us. Bigger family. But he's been struggling this time. So one of the things that my dad said before he died, and he told it to my younger brother, was take care of the family. Make sure the family's always okay. And we spread that burden amongst ourselves to say that we always look out for each other. And we're in a car. Just last week, before I came here, we're in a car. Older than me, older than you. We're talking about certain things. And he broke down and cried. I didn't see him cry at my mom's funeral. I didn't see him cry at our dad's funeral. I didn't see him cry, but he broke down and cried. And he just said that sometimes it's too much. And he said that I don't want to be a burden to you. And that itself was more profound for me, for him to open up that way than any teachings that there was. Because to me, he's my spiritual guide. But to see him in that sort of state made me realize the vulnerability of men, because he's quite strong. He's headstrong. He's black and white.
There's no gray.
But I saw him in the most vulnerable space. And I can say that now, because to me, it was very clear what was going on. And I said, we are family. There's never a moment in a time that you should ever feel like you can't reach out to us. Never. If I don't have at that time, I don't have. We make a plan.
Yeah.
If I do have, I'm sharing with you. It's the whole purpose that we're here. It's the whole purpose when you hear me say, hey, I'm going to put in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Family I'm going to take care of. Never go to a point where you think that you can't. And if you want to talk, reach out to me. That's my job. That's his job. That's all our job. To reach out to amongst ourselves, and we can make sure that we're safe.
What you're talking about and what we are trying to let everybody know, not relax, there's no sponsorship for us to talk about this yet, but anyway,
could be an NGO out there. There could be an NGO out there that could be looking out for, this is good stuff, actually. This is actually brilliant stuff.
Some people assume that they live in an island, and so they
exactly
because we've been taught that, because you must be strong.
That's what I was saying.
You must be strong.
That's what that statement
you must be strong. You're a man.
Yeah.
Man up, because everybody's looking up to you. But I've learned over the past 2-3 weeks, deep down, me as Vusa on this podcast, I am a wuss.
He's so metro. You should meet this guy. He's such a masculine person, actually.
I am a wuss. I didn't know I'm such a needy fella. Had no clue. No clue until it just dawned on me. I was like, oh, snap. Really? Is that you? But I'm able to look in the mirror and say, it is you. And be so chuffed, because in knowing your levels and knowing your makeup and knowing just how vulnerable you are, you then plan how and who to expose yourself to. And when
be careful there, though.
Yeah, no, I'm saying to a point where you understand your limits and you know who to share things with and who not to share things with, how to share things and how not to share things. Because before, people would walk all over me.
Yeah.
Because they could see it and they realized that I didn't see it.
Yeah, my partner told me about that as well.
Yeah. People like, let's manipulate that. And they'll use me.
Yeah.
To that extent. Now I'm wiser.
Yeah. And they hate it.
They can't, because I'm unpredictable. Oh. You know what I mean? And so
they're awakening.
Yeah, and so they don't know how to play the game. They don't know how to play the game anymore, because I've changed my playing tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And so they now are in a quagmire.
Yeah.
And I am appearing headstrong because I now know where I draw the line. So they need to make a plan.
They need to adjust.
And this is across the board. Mm-hmm. Work, whatever. It's across the board. It's like, this guy's not joking.
Yeah.
Before I'd go and say, no, can you come take a look at my car? And I'll be very nice. Just go, it's how much is that? No, it's for free, don't worry. Yeah, but then
it's not free. You learned that stuff.
Exactly. So you know what I mean? So it's one of those, okay. And now hey, can you come? Yeah, but you do know there's a call out charge. Sorry? I said, yeah.
They ain't just coming for nothing.
It's not a fit. It's a Mercedes. know what I mean?
Even if it was a fit, bro.
Yeah. Fit all the more so. I'll be just filling up the tank on call-out charges, you know what I mean? And inspections and assessments, you know? And I'm like, no. I know my value. I know my worth. If you can't afford me, it's okay.
It's okay. It's not a bad thing.
I'm not worried, you know? There's someone else who can meet your budget. It's not me, and I'm okay. I'm comfortable with it, because the more I'm comfortable with who I am, the more I'll attract people that will deal with my comfort zone.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
You attract the right people.
Exactly. I won't forget those that brought me to where I am. There'll always be those that I'll just have concessions with. You know, I can look, you've been with me for years.
Yeah.
But then there are those will be like, no, you can't afford it, so don't play with me, because I'm not playing around, and I'm dealing with what you've allowed me to handle. You know what I mean? You've allowed me to have your car. I'm a steward of your car. So I will do my 150% to return it to you better than it was than when you gave it to me.
Yeah.
So you honor me by paying me what is due.
Yeah, value.
You know, it's real value. So don't waste my time. And it's okay. There are others that will be there, but I know, and I've seen it happen countless times. Guys disappear. Later on, it's just this phone call. Hey, can you just take a look at my car? And I'll be like, A, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, okay. And this is a true story. This guy says, hey, I need you to take a look at my car. I need you to come and fix it. And I said, okay, it's fine. And so it's on my way back to work. So whatever, we just stopped. I was with my partner there, and we're taking a look at this car. And I said, you need to do A, B, C, D, you need to do this. He says, okay, thanks. So how much do you think that will cost? And I tell him, okay, I'll give you a call next week. We drove and renew. No, he was just using us so that he could tell the person who's going to fix the car what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A
lot of those. Like, no, he's not coming back because he knows my level, and he understands if I say fix this, once that is fixed, it's cars.
Exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's what we do with each other, even on an emotional and mental level.
Yeah,
you know, they'll like, so what should I do here, and use you, and then not give you any return.
Yeah,
let's pass. They use you, don't give you any return. They don't celebrate you. They don't acknowledge you. You're just there when the brown stuff hits the fan.
Yeah.
But then there's the one who say, hey, what should I do here? Okay, can you fix it for me? Can you do this? Okay, fine, fantastic. See you next time. And they'll go around and say, you must try this fellow.
Yeah.
You must try this fellow. And it's same with life. And so one of the things, instead of just trying to encourage those that are being suicidal or whatever, even you who thinks you've got it all together, when was the last time you appreciated the person right next to you?
That's true.
Yeah, when was the last time? COVID has allowed us to fall into this lull of have the face mask, always sanitize, and when we were growing up, that was very rude to wash your hands once you've greeted somebody, or to have a face mask. It was very rude.
It was against everything.
Yeah, now it's a must by WHO, by our government, you know, by our schools, by our workplaces, ethics. There must be sanitizer in the car. It's a must. So what it has done is it has allowed us subconsciously to erode some certain values of just acknowledging an individual.
That's so true.
And people are walking around in the sake of no COVID, but what are the in-depth issues? How are you? Are you okay? You good? You're fine.
And that's a special question.
How are you? How are you? I do that when I'm poor field. How you doing? I'm alright.
I know, eh? And people start thinking that it's too much. And I'm thinking, I'm just wondering how your day is.
Yeah, you good? You're right. Did they allow you? I went to KFC the other time. I was buying, what are those things called? Chicken nuggets and ice cream.
The dunked wings.
Yeah, the dunked nuggets. Chicken nuggets,
yeah.
I wanted ice cream and they didn't have change. I thought, let me just buy nuggets as well and take them home.
They're clever.
Very clever. Shout out to KFC. They've got this fantastic ice cream
as well.
You know, they've got this fantastic mixed berry sundae. Oh, it's hectic.
Okay.
I think like every 2-3 days I need to have one. You know,
I noticed the weight, my guy.
Yeah, no, come on, man, snap. You're supposed to be talking about how fit I'm looking. Talk about the weight. So the security guard is there at the door. He's the one that's doing the whole sanitizing and all that stuff. I said, how are you doing? I'm fine. How are you keeping? I'm good. And I said, your shift is about to end because it's after work. He goes, yeah. And I said, are you sure they want you back home? The guy just laughs. He goes, yeah, no, I made sure. Yeah, no, they're waiting for me. I said, and you better make sure you go home.
That's a beautiful.
I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this nonsense that you're gonna. And he just laughed. You know, he just laughed. And I bought my stuff and I was walking. I said, go home. He just laughed. And you walk away, having acknowledged somebody who nobody acknowledges, because he's the God. Even the petrol attendant, you just give him money. Paul,
Yeah.
how's home? Are you okay? You sure? How are you coping with the weather? How's transport? Hey, it's hectic. Okay, cool, but thanks a lot. Okay, so now I go to a specific fuel station, not because the other guys don't have the fuel, but because of the guys there, so that I greet them. You know, that's the day I walked past. I said, how's it? And he looked at me and goes, Andy Mure. And I said, right. If he had ignored me, I was going to chew you up because I'm going to get my car now. And if you're going to greet me because I'm in my car and this time it just made a joke out of it.
I don't understand. And I think, you know what? I think that's what everybody should do. And there'll be less stress in this country and stuff.
Less.
And to show you how I do the same, where you stop at the traffic lights.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want some of those mangoes. Yeah. But you don't even ask about the mangoes. You ask about him and everything else. And he's perplexed that someone's actually asking after me. Not with even when I do and I say, how much you have? I got $5. Okay, so I can't. No, we can make a plan. No, I don't want to reduce what you're supposed to make. Yeah. Let me go and find the money. Yeah. And come back and pay what you said. Yeah. Really? Because 9 times out of 10 when you get there, someone's like, no, let's reduce. We can make a plan. No. You said $10. Let me go and find $10. And 9 times out of 10 you come back. Where's that guy? Hey, you're not going to open. No, there's a guy I specifically wanted to see. I said, I'll come back with $10. And I'll give you. Now I've got the $10. I want you to say, no, we can make it 8. We can make it 5. Decant it, whatever it is. No.
There's this guy who came. These youngsters that are they're regassing aircons, for like $20. And I thought, interesting. Because I can do it for your car. And said, yeah, look, I know there's a trick that you need to organize to regas my car. No. The guy said, okay, fine. I said, how much? And he goes, $20. I said, okay, I don't have the money right now, so you'll have to come back later. He goes, no, we can talk. And I said, no, we are not going to talk. And he looked at me and I said, I charge people because I know my worth.
Yes.
You are charging me because that's your worth.
Yes.
Who are you then to reduce your worth because I cannot afford you?
No.
It's not your fault.
That's not your fault.
It's not your fault. If I can afford you, it's okay.
Yeah.
Go. When I get the money, give me your contact. I'll call you. You know what I mean? Because you need to allow him to walk off, even if he didn't make a sale, but he's got self-respect.
Yeah. And he knows what he's worth right there.
But we don't do that because here it's about the deal. I had a guy, first time I started working with him, an electrician, he comes and he does a job, and then he goes, how much? And he asked him how much. He goes, 35. I said, okay. Took the money and I paid him. He looked at me.
Just like that, no negotiation.
He looked at me and he goes, oh. And that, oh. In Shona, there's certain ways that we say stuff. That is the whole sentence. And he goes, oh.
Four, you said it.
Which in a translation of that is a whole paragraph of, guy, are you really giving me $35? Aren't you going to talk me down? I said, and then I heard the oh and the look he gave and said, you charge me in accordance to what you've done. I'm not going to call you about this particular problem again.
Not. This is it.
This is it. I trust you. From that moment on, that's how we work. That's it. And look, I think today we've got that for quite a bit. We haven't exhausted it. We haven't exhausted the topic because it's quite hectic. Because what it does is it doesn't just touch about suicide. It doesn't touch about loss or the empty nest protocol. It touches a lot on how an individual defines themselves.
And reacts to the situations.
And reacts to the situations around. And bringing it back to the whole relationship sagas and the trip to Cape Town and the jelly babies. Everything is intertwined and linked. Everybody wants to feel like they're worth something. And unfortunately, it's hitting the male species of this whole breed. Because there's a huge demand to perform. There's a huge demand to provide. There's a huge demand to supply. And sometimes the people that are the ones that kill the most are the ones that are in your closer circle. And so when you find somebody who's going to pay attention, who's not going to want to demand now, they won't demand now. They'll demand later, but what they'll do is they will build you to get you to be able to provide for them, because they're not going to ask in the future. You're just going to do it because it's your way of honoring the celebration that gave you inspiration for you to be with them in that moment. No man is going to traipse across the city for no reason. No man is going to fly to Dubai for no reason.
Of course.
No man is going to go to South Africa for no reason.
Of course.
No, he's not going to do that because he's being celebrated, so he's being inspired to do something, to be greater. And you can say, you're being used. No, there's a celebration that's happening right there. Because for some guys, and I need most wives to understand this concept, and don't lie to yourselves. The guy is not looking for sex. He's not looking for freaky sex. He's not looking for somebody who's always dressed in a mini, or who's walking around butt naked and riding a zebra or something. No, a guy is just looking for somebody who's going to honor the mere fact that he breathes.
Yeah,
that's it.
That basic.
To use Chris's words, that's the finality. You're breathing. Oh my gosh. Wow, you're breathing, and then you can sit, and they don't want a Meikle's 4-course meal, a freeze it, and maputi.
That's a complete meal, actually.
Yeah, or water and maputi, or you buy those sticky buns, and Coke,
and they're nice and hot,
and Coke, and you're done.
Giovanna's chips,
you know what I mean, and you're done. You don't have to go over the moon, and you're done. And what they do is they celebrate it as though you have flown them to Dubai via New York, and you have gotten the French chef, and that's how they celebrate it. So you are then inspired to say, next time it will be Coke, maputi, and buns. You know what I mean? and you're inspired to do a hustle that will provide for that. And many times they do it outside of their home, because in the home they are always being told, no, so is the French chef. But because everything has just dropped, there's economic downturn and all that stuff, deal with what's there. But they won't look at it that way. You're always the problem. Mr. Producer, on that point, Chris is quiet. I think we'll call it a wrap for now. Yeah.
That's a wrap, man.
This was Nokia today. We said it has to be HTC, then reason is iPhone, then phone.
Go back to miners. We're good to go. Where are miners? Go for the
I'm just fed up.